Imagine this, you wake up every morning with a full battery, charged not by your phone, but by your soul. But instead of using that energy for peace, purpose, and power, most people drain it before breakfast. What if I told you, in just 20 minutes, you could align your mind with your mission, your heart with gratitude, and your day with divine direction? Let's stop letting the day control us and start commanding the day. Imagine waking up tomorrow and instead of reaching for your phone, you reach for a moment of silence. No noise, no notifications, just stillness. This might seem simple, even unimportant, but in that silence lies something powerful. Your ability to take charge of your day before the world tries to. You see, the moment you open your eyes, your mind is like a blank canvas. What you allow in during those first few minutes will shape the picture you paint throughout the day. Most people start their mornings by flooding their minds with emails, social media, news, or worries. They unknowingly invite chaos before calm, reaction before reflection, and noise before meaning. But stillness is not emptiness, it is space, sacred space. It's the gentle pause where your thoughts begin to align, your breath deepens, and your soul reconnects with something greater than yourself. It's where you meet God, not through a temple or a prayer mat, but through awareness, through presence, through being completely, utterly here. You don't need candles or chants. You don't need rituals or religion. You just need the courage to be with yourself before the world demands you to be with everything else. Think of your mind like a cup. When you start your day without stillness, that cup begins to overflow with the noise of the world before you've even taken a sip. And when your mind is full of everyone else's expectations, comments, comparisons, and complaints, you have no room left for clarity, creativity, or calm. But when you start with stillness, you pour clean, fresh water into that cup. You are choosing what to fill yourself with before the world does it for you. Have you ever noticed that the most important conversations in life happen in quiet? When someone you love is hurting, you don't scream, you sit in silence. When you're watching a sunrise or standing near the ocean, your soul quiets down. That is no coincidence. Stillness is where the truth lives. And yet in the rush of our routines, we avoid it. Why? Because silence forces us to face ourselves. And sometimes that is the hardest part of the day. But the truth is, if you don't face yourself, you'll spend the whole day running from things you haven't dealt with. You'll react instead of respond. You'll be drained instead of directed. Let's say you're stuck in traffic, someone cuts you off, and your reaction is immediate irritation. Why? Because you didn't start your day with awareness. You started it with adrenaline. You didn't build an inner space to return to. Stillness gives you that space. It becomes the anchor in your storm, the calm inside your chaos. Even 5 minutes of silence in the morning can change how you show up for the next 16 hours. That's not an exaggeration. That's psychology. That's spirituality. That's self-respect. Now imagine this. You wake up, you sit up, you take a deep breath, and you just sit. No goals, no thinking about what to do next. Just breathing. You might even put a hand over your heart and feel the beat. That's life. That's proof that something divine exists within you. Something you didn't create, but something you're connected to. And as you breathe, you allow that connection to deepen. Maybe a few thoughts rise, let them. Watch them come. Watch them go. This is not about emptying the mind. It's about making peace with the moment. About beginning your day by saying, I am not just a machine. I am not just a calendar full of tasks. I am a soul. And I start my day in silence because my soul deserves a seat at the table today. A stillness is how you remember that you're not alone. You are guided. You are held. You are not just reacting to life, you are in partnership with it. Think of it like tuning an instrument. If a musician plays without tuning their instrument first, the entire song is off key. That's what most people do. They wake up and start playing the song of their day without tuning their minds. Stillness is your tuning session. And once you're in tune, your words, your actions, your decisions, they all come from harmony, not from haste. Even nature follows this law. The sun doesn't rush to rise. It unfolds gently. The flowers don't explode open. They bloom in silence. The wind doesn't make noise to prove its presence. It whispers. And yet, its impact is everywhere. So why do we believe that loud, fast, and busy is the only way to live? When you learn to begin your day in stillness, you're not just making a small shift in routine. You're taking back your life. You're choosing your state of mind before it is chosen for you. You're creating a life that is built on response, not reaction. Clarity, not confusion. Intention, not impulse. And when your mornings begin this way, your entire life starts to change, not all at once, but deeply, consistently, and beautifully. So tomorrow, before you rush into the world, pause, sit, breathe, be still. And remember, stillness is not the absence of life. It is the presence of divine alignment. Let that be your starting point. And watch how the day rises to meet you. Imagine waking up with a restless mind, already overwhelmed before the day has begun. You reach for your phone and see a message that triggers anxiety, a notification that reminds you of a pending task, and a post that makes you feel like you're already behind. Without even stepping out of bed, your inner peace is compromised. But now imagine another version of that same morning. One where instead of rushing into the chaos, you pause for a moment and remind yourself of something powerful. I am grateful. Not for something extraordinary, but for the simple, often overlooked things. Your breath, your bed, your ability to see a new day. That's the shift. That's the power of beginning your day with gratitude instead of anxiety. Gratitude isn't just an emotion, it's a lens through which the entire world changes. When you train your mind to focus on what's present, not what's missing, you begin to unlock a level of peace that doesn't rely on perfection. Think about it. How often do we condition our happiness on future outcomes? I'll be happy when I get that job. I'll feel good when my relationship improves. I'll be at peace when my problems are solved. And yet, that moment never arrives because once we get what we want, we start chasing the next thing. Gratitude stops that cycle. It grounds you in the now. It teaches your mind to recognize what is rather than obsess over what isn't. It shifts your vibration, changes your chemistry, and rewires the way you experience life. Science proves it. People who practice gratitude consistently have better sleep, reduced stress, stronger immune systems, and deeper relationships. But beyond science, there's something even more spiritual happening. When you feel grateful, you begin to feel connected to others, to yourself, and most importantly, to the divine force that created you. Let's make this real. You walk into your kitchen and realize there's food in your fridge. That's gratitude. You turn on the tap and clean water flows. That's a blessing millions dream of. You step outside and feel the sun on your skin. That warmth isn't just physical, it's symbolic of a world that still holds beauty, even in chaos. The problem is, most of us don't slow down long enough to notice these things. We move through life as if it owes us something. But when you approach life with gratitude, you realize you are already rich in ways that can't be measured by money or success. You can't be stressed and grateful at the same time. It's psychologically impossible. One will always cancel the other out. So when you start your day by listing what you're thankful for, your breath, your body, your family, your strength, you're not just being positive, you're being powerful. Because you're choosing to direct your energy. You're choosing to tell your nervous system, I am safe, I am blessed, I am here. And that changes everything. Think of gratitude as a spiritual filter. It doesn't remove the challenges, but it colors how you see them. Suddenly, the traffic jam becomes time to listen to an inspiring podcast. The difficult conversation becomes an opportunity to grow. The setbacks turn into setups for something greater. Gratitude doesn't make life perfect. It makes it purposeful. And when your life has purpose, your problems no longer own you. Even in the smallest routines, gratitude changes the game. Drinking your morning tea becomes a ritual of mindfulness. Saying thank you to someone becomes a transmission of energy. Looking in the mirror and saying, I'm proud of how far I've come, becomes a moment of divine recognition. You begin to realize that you're not lacking, you're learning, you're not waiting. You're already walking a path filled with gifts, if only you open your eyes to see them. One of the most humbling practices is to imagine losing what you take for granted. What if you couldn't walk tomorrow? What if you lost your voice? What if the people you love weren't there? This isn't to scare you. It's to awaken you. Because we often need contrast to feel clarity. Gratitude isn't just for when things go right. It's for when things go wrong, and you still find something to hold on to. That's the kind of mindset that builds spiritual strength. And here's the truth. Every time you express gratitude, you invite more to be grateful for. Life responds to your energy. When you walk around saying, I never have enough, the world echoes back lack. But when you say, thank you for what I have, the world opens up in ways you couldn't imagine. This is not magic, it's alignment, it's flow. It's tapping into the divine current that says, if you honor what I've given, I'll give you more to honor. So tomorrow morning, before your feet even touch the ground, whisper this to yourself, thank you. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this body. Thank you for the chance to try again. And then watch how your day transforms, not because everything outside changed, but because something inside did. Gratitude is the key that unlocks peace in a noisy world. And once you start seeing through that lens, nothing looks the same again. Every morning, your mind wakes up hungry. It's searching for something to feed on. And just like your body needs healthy food to stay strong, your mind needs nourishing thoughts to remain focused, peaceful, and powerful. The problem is, most people feed their minds junk first thing in the morning. Scrolling through social media, watching the news, or diving straight into their inbox. It's like eating candy for breakfast. It might give you a quick jolt, but it leaves you drained, anxious, and unfocused. If you truly want to start your day right, you must feed your mind before you feed your body. And what you feed it matters more than you think. Think of your mind as a garden. Whatever you plant will grow. If you start the day with stress, comparison, and noise, those are the seeds that take root. But if you plant peace, wisdom, and purpose, your entire day begins to bloom differently. Feeding your mind isn't about avoiding information. It's about choosing what kind of information enters first. The morning is your most sacred time. Your brain is still in a highly absorbent state, like a sponge. It will soak in whatever you offer it. This is why what you expose yourself to in those first 20 minutes is not optional. It is foundational. Let's say you wake up and read a powerful quote from a spiritual teacher or a life lesson from someone who's been through struggle and came out stronger. What happens? Your perspective shifts. Your inner world starts expanding. You remember what really matters. You feel connected to something deeper than your to-do list. And when the challenges of the day show up, because they always do, you're not caught off guard. You're not shaken. You've already fed your inner strength. Now compare that to waking up and diving into social media. Within minutes, you're comparing your life to filtered highlights. Someone is already achieving what you haven't. Someone's vacation makes your room feel small. Someone's body makes you question your own. All before you've even brushed your teeth. You didn't plan to feel insecure or overwhelmed. It happened because your mind consumed someone else's noise before it heard your own truth. This is why the morning is a sacred window. It's the temple of your mind. What you allow in will shape not just your mood, but your decisions, your energy, your relationships, and your faith in yourself. Feeding your mind doesn't have to be complicated. It could be reading a few pages of a powerful book. It could be listening to a 5-minute podcast or speech that awakens your focus. It could even be writing down a mantra, a goal, or a lesson you've learned from the past. The point is, you begin your day by building yourself up, not breaking yourself down. People often say they don't have time, but it's not about time, it's about priority. You don't skip breakfast and expect your body to function at its best. So why skip mental nutrition and expect your mind to stay sharp, calm and confident? Even 5 minutes of intentional input can redirect your entire day. That's not an exaggeration. It's proven by countless people who have changed their lives by changing how they start their mornings. Think of someone walking into a meeting after starting their day with positive affirmations, spiritual reflection, and a reminder of their bigger purpose. Their posture is different. Their energy is grounded. They listen with more presence. They speak with more clarity. Why? Because they aren't reacting to life. They are responding from a place of inner power. They've fed their mind with confidence, not confusion. Wisdom, not worry. Purpose, not panic. Now contrast that with someone who rushed out the door, checked 15 notifications, skipped any inner alignment, and is now sitting in that same meeting feeling scattered, short-tempered, and unsure. The difference between those two people is not intelligence or luck. It's how they fed their mind before the world had a chance to. This is not about perfection. Some days will be messy. But even on the messy days, if you begin with intention, your mind will find its center again and again. You'll find yourself responding differently to the same stress. You'll notice that you're not as easily pulled into drama or distraction. Why? Because your roots are deeper now. You've been nourishing the part of yourself that doesn't depend on external validation. You've been feeding your inner wisdom, your faith, your resilience. Let's bring it even closer to daily life. Imagine you're walking into a difficult conversation with a friend or family member. If your mind has been filled with inspiration and clarity, you'll enter that space with openness, not offense. You'll listen without ego. You'll speak from the heart, not from habit. That's the kind of transformation that comes when you give your mind something deeper to hold on to. Or think of a parent starting the day with a few minutes of spiritual grounding. Now, when their child throws a tantrum or things go off schedule, instead of snapping, they breathe. They remember, this moment is temporary. My response can shape it. That's the strength that grows from daily mental nutrition. So tomorrow morning, before your phone lights up, before the world tries to get your attention, give your attention to yourself. Feed your mind with something that aligns you with who you want to be, not what the world tells you to be. It could be a quote, a meditation, a short journal entry, or simply sitting in reflection. Let that be the first voice you hear, because once your mind is full of truth, peace, and purpose, nothing outside can take that away. Close your eyes for a moment and picture the person you truly want to be. Not in a year, not someday in the distant future, but today. See yourself walking with confidence, speaking with clarity, handling challenges with calmness, showing kindness without hesitation. This version of you already exists. It's not a fantasy, it's a possibility. And that possibility becomes reality when you take just a few minutes each morning to visualize with faith, not fear. Most people start their day imagining everything that could go wrong. They wake up and their mind is already predicting stress, traffic, deadlines, disagreements, failure. This is unconscious visualization. It's fear disguised as preparation. And the problem is, when you rehearse fear, you train your mind to expect it. You begin reacting to problems that haven't even happened. Your body goes into stress mode. Your breathing tightens. Your thoughts spiral. All because your imagination was left in the hands of worry. But what if you took that same powerful imagination and directed it with purpose? What if you trained your mind to visualize not what you fear, but what you desire with belief, not doubt? That's the shift. That's the difference between waking up defeated and waking up driven. Visualization with faith means seeing yourself achieving the outcome you want, not just hoping for it, but feeling it, stepping into it, embodying it. This is not daydreaming. It's mental training. Athletes do this before games. Speakers do it before stepping on stage. Even surgeons do it before complicated procedures. Why? Because when the mind can see the success before it happens, the body begins to believe it's possible. You move with more intention. You speak with more trust. You act with more courage. And it all starts from within. Let's take an everyday example. You're about to attend an important meeting. Your mind can go two ways. One, what if I say the wrong thing? What if I mess up? That's fear-based visualization, and it sets the tone for self-doubt. Two, I will speak clearly. I will stay grounded. I will bring value. That's faith-based visualization. You haven't even stepped into the room yet, but your energy already has. You're telling your subconscious, this is who I am. This is how I show up. And here's the secret. Your mind can't distinguish between what's real and what's vividly imagined. So when you visualize your day going well, your goals being met, your interactions being graceful, you're rehearsing success. You're laying neural pathways that make it easier to repeat those actions in real life. You're not waiting to feel confident. You're creating confidence from the inside out. This applies to relationships too. If you've had tension with someone, your mind might replay all the arguments, all the misunderstandings. But what if instead you closed your eyes and visualized a peaceful conversation? What if you imagined listening with patience and speaking from the heart? That image, held with belief, softens your energy. It opens your heart. It rewrites the emotional script before the interaction even takes place. Faith-based visualization isn't just about success, it's also about healing. See yourself letting go of old wounds. Visualize forgiving those who hurt you, not because they deserve it, but because your peace matters more. See yourself choosing self-respect over self-doubt. See yourself standing tall in moments where you once felt small. These mental images become a spiritual compass, reminding you of where you're headed, especially when life tries to distract or derail you. And the beauty is, you don't need an hour, just a few minutes of focused, intentional visualization each morning can change how you walk through your entire day. You could sit quietly after waking, close your eyes and ask, what energy do I want to carry today? Then imagine yourself living from that place. Picture the situations you'll face. How will the best version of you respond? What words will you use? How will you breathe? How will you carry yourself? This mental rehearsal prepares your inner world for whatever the outer world may bring. Even on days that don't go as planned, this habit keeps you centered. When problems arise, you've already trained your mind to find peace. When negativity shows up, you don't crumble. You recall the version of you that already rose above it. Visualization becomes your quiet preparation, your inner alignment, your spiritual armor. Many people walk through life reacting to what comes. But you can walk through life creating what comes. You can decide what kind of energy enters the room with you. You can choose to see yourself as powerful, calm, capable, and guided. Not someday, today. Because every time you visualize with faith, you water the seeds of that reality. And eventually, the world around you begins to reflect what you've long been holding inside. So tomorrow morning, before the world has a chance to distract you, sit with yourself. Close your eyes. And see it, your ideal day, your best self, your greatest peace. Not with pressure, but with presence. Not with control, but with trust. Let the vision rise, let it breathe, and let it guide you. Because when you start your day by aligning your imagination with faith, you don't just dream about a better life, you start living it. Before the world demands anything from you, before the emails, the messages, the meetings, or the noise, there is a sacred window in the morning where you get to choose your alignment. In that space, you have one of the most powerful decisions to make. Will you connect with your source, or will you just connect with your schedule? Because here's the truth. Your calendar can guide your tasks, but only your connection with the divine can guide your soul. When you start your day plugged into the source of all wisdom, strength, peace, and purpose, everything you do after that becomes more grounded, more intentional, and far less overwhelming. Most people treat their day like a race. As soon as they open their eyes, they sprint into activity. But there's a difference between motion and direction. You can be busy all day and still feel empty at night. You can complete your to-do list and still feel spiritually disconnected. That's what happens when we move without alignment. When we function without connection. You don't need to believe in a particular religion or follow a specific ritual. You just need to be willing to pause, open your heart, and simply say, "Guide me." Those two words carry enormous power. In them is surrender. In them is trust. In them is wisdom that knows you don't have to do everything alone. Imagine starting your morning not with a rushed mind, but with a quiet conversation with the Creator, the universe, or whatever name you use for the divine. That connection doesn't require perfect words or poetic prayers. It only requires honesty. You could simply say, "I don't know what today holds, but please help me show up with grace." You could whisper, "Let me act with love, speak with patience, and think with clarity." That's it. That is connection. And that 1 minute of sincerity can anchor you in a way no productivity app ever could. Let's bring this into daily life. Imagine you're about to make a big decision. Your mind is going in circles. Logic tells you one thing. Emotion pulls you in another direction. That's when connection matters the most. Because when you're connected to the source, you tap into guidance that goes beyond your thinking mind. You begin to sense what feels right, not just what looks right. You begin to trust your inner wisdom, because you know it's rooted in something eternal, not just emotional. Or take a stressful moment, you're stuck in traffic, running late, your mood is spiraling. Most people reach for distraction, but a connected mind reaches for stillness. You take a deep breath and remind yourself, everything is unfolding as it needs to. I am not alone in this. That one thought, born from connection, has the power to shift your entire energy. Suddenly, the delay becomes a pause, not a punishment. You don't just react, you respond. That's the difference between being spiritually plugged in and spiritually empty. When you're connected to the source, your energy becomes magnetic. People feel your calm, your words carry more weight, your presence feels safe and grounded. Why? Because you're not operating from ego, fear, or scarcity. You're operating from divine flow. You're not begging the world for approval. You're already approved by something higher. That's the kind of confidence that doesn't need to be loud, it's silent, strong, and undeniable. And this doesn't have to take hours, even just 2 to 5 minutes in the morning. Before you check your phone, before you start thinking about what needs to be done, can completely shift how you experience the rest of the day. You could close your eyes, place your hand over your heart, and simply say, "Thank you for another chance." That simple sentence invites the divine into your space. It reminds you that life itself is a gift, and you are not here by accident. If your phone needs to be charged every night to function, your spirit also needs to be recharged every morning to truly live. So many people wonder why they feel tired all the time, even after sleep. It's not physical exhaustion, it's spiritual disconnection. You can sleep 8 hours and still wake up feeling heavy if your soul hasn't been nourished. But when you begin the day with connection, even 5 hours of rest can feel like enough. Because your spirit feels supported, your heart feels full, and your mind feels clear. There's also an incredible power in asking for help before you need it. A simple practice is to invite guidance for the moments you know will test you. For example, if you know you're walking into a difficult conversation or facing an emotional task, take a moment beforehand and ask, "Give me the words, the patience, the strength I'll need." That moment of intention plants a seed, and when the challenge comes, you'll find yourself more composed, not because of luck, but because you prepared spiritually. When you connect to the source before the schedule, your day doesn't just happen to you, it unfolds through you. You move through the day with grace, not just grit, with trust, not just toughness, with wisdom, not just willpower. And by the time you lay your head down at night, there is a peace that doesn't come from achievement, but from alignment. So tomorrow morning, give yourself the gift of spiritual connection. Don't just rise, align. Don't just start, center. Before the calls, the messages, and the meetings, connect. Because once you're connected to the source, no matter what the day brings, you'll be ready to meet it, not with panic, but with presence. Not with pressure, but with peace. Not with fear, but with quiet, unshakable faith.